a quick recap, or maybe just understanding what you actually gained out of the last session. Anything that was confusing for you? You have any feedback or any question that you have to ask? Okay. Okay. I hear a no. So I'm assuming that the previous session landed well. So and I think it was pretty much basics, right? But at the same time, I think it's important that you understand those aspects as well. So Rajesh, since you missed it out, we have the recording available. I'll be releasing the recording with the entire team, right? And you can go through at your own convenience. So the link will be available on YouTube. All right. So in today's conversation, what we wanted to do, and this is where I left the previous session. I had given you a task to install Anaconda on your system. So were you able to do it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I
I
see here.
I
Yes,
did,
Roshan,
but I was
you did.
struggling to navigate. You'll help me just a little.
Okay, all right, okay. So we'll go into the practical side. The today's session is all about basics, very basics of Python, right? And how to set up the environment, right? So that you get familiar with the overall IDE, right? So Rajesh, just in case if you do not have Anaconda on your system, I request maybe after this conversation, after this session, you can go ahead and install. All right,
Sure.
and yeah, sure. Okay. Let me share my screen real quick. I hope you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So today's session is all about what is Python, right? The very basic concepts, the syntaxes, the the differences between Python and the other languages which are there, right? So I mean, it's very basic one. So somebody who is already aware of the basics, I request you to participate in this session as a learner, right? Try to share your learnings, right? Please do not get frustrated. But we are going to change the gears very quickly. This is the only basic session that we are going to have. From the next session onwards, it's the things are going to become much more complicated. Right? But it is important that we bring everybody onto the same page. All right. If we have already spoken about that there are different IDEs, right? We are preferring to go with Anaconda. You can go ahead and have Visual Studio Code as well. We'll be using Visual Studio Code. We'll be using Cursor. We'll be using Claude, right? In the forthcoming sessions. But at this point in time, having Anaconda will help, right? So if we and just directly jumping into the concepts, right? Um, why Python, right? It's important that we know, and I'll talk about some of the factual details as well. But let's talk about why Python, right? And the first part is all about it's a simple and readable syntax, right? Python code is close to very English, right? And it's not so complicated to understand. In my own uh, tenure, in my own career, I actually have worked on C++, C, Visual Fox Pro, Fox Pro, Visual Basic .NET, and so on, right? Um, and of course, I moved from one role to another, right? But Python, I really liked. It's very easy to understand. Much, and when you know that other languages, when you differentiate between the other languages and Python, you will figure it out that, oh yeah, it's easy to understand. So if you look at, this is the syntax that we have for Python, right? It is easy to understand. There are if you compare this with Java and C++, it's fairly complicated one, right? You have got different syntaxes, curly braces, the semicolons and all, right? And if you look at it, the indentation itself is the syntax. So we'll talk about this in detail, and you will experience this just in case if this is the first time you are working on Python, right? You will experience this firsthand. So I just wanted to check a quick one. Uh, have you ever worked on Python in the past?
I have not.
You have not. Shivani, have you worked?
No, no, I have not. Not with Python, but other languages.
All right. Okay. Okay. So we have got a fair distribution. I know that rest of the people know Python to some extent, right? So we have got a fair distribution, and it's important that we are able to differentiate between the different languages and Python. By the way, I also would like to know whether you have worked on any language. Shivani, I'm sure that you would in your CS you would have gone through the different
I
languages.
did, I did. I worked on HTML a lot at the time, so that has stayed with me.
Okay. Okay. And I assume that Kamlesh, you definitely would have gone through the different
Uh,
languages, right?
I have, but the last time I coded was 10 years ago. I mean, I deal with coding to review and other stuff, but me writing a code, not in the recent times,
Okay.
but
Okay.
long, long
Okay.
ago.
Yeah. Sure. I think so. Maybe this may be helpful for you, Kamlesh. Uh, I mean, this transition that we are seeing, right? It is important, and maybe it will be required at some point in time for you to become some kind of hands-on, right? Eventually, you will be doing coding using prompts, right? But at the same time, it is important that you understand all those syntaxes, right? So what actually has happened with me too? Uh, I started my career as a developer, and very quickly moved into the management role, right? And then I again decided to be hands-on, right? And that's when Python actually really helped me. It was much more easier. Right. Overall, the way I structured the code to run different projects, different programs, it was fairly easy for me as compared to other languages. Lot many times while working in Java in particular, right, I will get lost in the environmental variables itself. Right. I'm sure that somebody who is coming from Java field, Java tech stack, they will understand this better. Yeah. So anyways, this is the syntax. It's pretty much simple and readable, right? As you may see. Uh, Python is an interpreted language. So there are two different ways to deal with. I mean, when you write a particular piece of code, it needs to be executed in the system, right? And it can be done in two different ways. But every source code that we write, it needs to be converted into machine code, right? The only machine code can be understood by the operating system. Uh, and there are different ways to compile a code or maybe execute a code from the from what the syntax that you have written to the machine. So if you look at it, the interpreted language, right? I mean, since Python is an interpreted language, uh, typically when you write a code, it's a py file or ipyb file. These are the two different syntaxes. Python actually interprets it, right, and runs it, right. Whereas if you look at some other languages, say for example, VC or maybe Java, right? If your project is written in maybe in the CPP file, right? First of all, the compiler will run. It will identify all the challenges, all the issues in the source code in a single go, right? It will convert this into a machine code, right? And then it will be executed. Now there is a beauty in that too, because when you do this, you are able to identify all the issues upfront. That's one advantage. The other advantage is that the machine code is already existing. You run the machine code, which is actually which the operating system can easily understand. So it's pretty fast, right? As compared to interpreted languages, compiled code is always faster, right? When it comes to interpreted language, what happens that you run the source code line by line. You will execute one line, you will move into the next and next and next, right? So the advantage here is that in case you're debugging the code, it is fairly easy to understand where the code is breaking. Only if it has got syntax errors, if it has got functional issues, then it's a different thing altogether, right? So it's an interpreted language, not a compiled one. You may think about certain aspects because when we are dealing with the data, particularly the data is huge, right? Every time we are doing some kind of processing, uh, you must be thinking how we can optimize, how we can run this program, this process quicker than before, right? There is always a pressure on that, right? And when we are using a language which is kind of interpreted, and it is assumed that it is actually slower than a compiled language. So how do we overcome this particular challenge, right? So there are certain libraries in which are used in Python. We'll talk about it in the next session because that is those libraries are lined up in the next session. But some of these libraries, they are actually written using C and C++. So they are much more faster, just to ensure that this particular challenge that we have in Python, we're trying to overcome it. But still, there will be some lag between, some difference between a compiled language output execution, right, versus Python, which is a interpreted one, and its execution. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay. Okay, then in Python, the when you are writing the syntaxes, it is dynamically typed. So what does that mean? In traditional languages, whether it is C++, Java, right, you have to first declare the object. You have to first declare the variable, right, and then you have to use it. But in Python, you use the object or the variable directly, and it will get associated with a particular data type. So here, if you look at it, x is equal to 10. That can be the first statement, and since it's an integer, x will be assumed that it's an integer variable. If x is equal to hello, it will get reinitialized, and it will be now a string array, right? Then if you have got x is equal to 1, 2, 3, now it's a list. So it is as straightforward as this. You don't have to define that, okay, x is integer, x is a string, or x is a list, right? And if you look at the difference between, I think maybe something is missing out here. Uh, um, if you look at this syntax, x is equal to 10, name is equal to Alice, and so on, right? So you are actually defining the variables and you are initializing them. So you don't have to explicitly call this out. If you look at C++ syntax, you have got a variable, and I mean, you're defining the variable and then you are initializing, right? So it's some of these languages, it's must to declare the type along with the variable. So and again, Python, this is very important, significant for all the modern languages, that the language needs to be object oriented, right? Wherein you can define an object, the class at the top, right? And you can define the subclasses. Say, for example, vehicle, then probably it can be a car, it can be a commercial vehicle, and so on, right? And the attributes, different functions, what all it will make it, what all will make a particular vehicle to be constituted. I mean, in the sense that it will run, it will have 4 wheels or 6 wheels, but some wheels will be there, right? So all that can be defined in the class, and then you can derive subclasses out of it. Right? So that actually kinds of makes your code pretty much readable, modular, right? And it is the requirement for the modern programs need, right? Uh, we have got extensive standard library. Now, well, when I get into the factual details, you will understand and appreciate this more. It's important that we know that Python is actually an open source. So what does that mean? That there are no licenses attached. You don't have to pay for it, right? It's a very important aspect because that is something which is available in the public. People will go and try to extend this language. That is possible. They will come back and share the source code or share the changes with a larger community. So this is how the might of Python is actually increasing. In 26 years, Python, sorry, in last 25 years, uh, um, Python actually has risen from number 26th language to number one, right? Across globe, it's it actually the standing is it's top ranked. So it has got a lot of libraries which are available, right? For example, math. And again, some of these are pretty rudimentary. It is available for other languages too. So it is not something which is not available for other languages, right? But it's important that even Python should have all those features, all those aspects. So we have large community standard libraries, then it is platform independent. So that means that you can write a code and you can run it on Windows, Mac operating system, Linux, and all, right? So it's almost like you write once and you can run anywhere. Another aspect is it's very important. It's great for rapid prototyping. That means that in case if you have to take a decision for your team, right, you have to turnaround time is important. And you are running against time, right? So Python is actually pretty easy to use and you can quickly develop. And there are a lot of reusable components available. Right? This used to happen in 2000 with Visual Basic and Visual Fox Pro. You can quickly turn around and have a application available. But at the same time, Basic, Visual Fox Pro, they have their own challenges. So they, as you know, that they do not exist anymore. I mean, Microsoft actually has withdrawn their support. Whatever legacy applications are running on these platforms, they are still running. So it is a great tool for rapid prototyping and it is integration friendly. So you can easily integrate with C, C++, .NET and other languages, right? And it actually works well with databases and APIs. Okay, so I have a question. Uh, which of the following correctly describes Python's typing system? I mean, you can say a Python system. Python requires explicit variable types. Python is dynamically typed. Python only supports integer variables. Python variables cannot change type. So which one you believe is correct? Shivani, may I ask you if you're okay?
B, considering what you have just taught us. I think it's B. I'm not sure.
Sorry, you said D,
B. B for Bombay.
Bombay. Okay. Who else would like to any difference of opinion on that? Kamlesh, what's your view?
So I lost you for a few seconds.
Okay,
Was the
okay.
question to me?
Yeah, I am asking that. What's your opinion on this question? What is your choice? What will you go for? Which of the following correctly describes Python's typing system? Okay, okay, that's okay. Anyone else who would like to give a shot?
I think it's B.
D.
B,
Uh,
B. Boy.
B.
Yes,
All
and
right.
boy.
Okay. Yeah, I think you both are correct. Python is actually dynamically typed. So that means that you don't have to explicitly define the data types. Okay, now over to some of the numbers. As I said that it is actually now the number one language, right? It has taken 25 years to climb to number one language, right? It is widely used in data science and AI world. The other language which is used is R. Right? R is a language which is now owned by Microsoft. The difference between Python and R particularly is um, R has got some uh, great libraries when it comes to test statistics. So if we are working on statistical models, right, R is actually preferred. A lot of people who have worked and who have graduated from traditional machine learning to now the modern machine learning, right, they still prefer R, right? So R is the other language which is dominating this space. But if you look at it, 85% of the data scientists they prefer to use Python. I mean, in a way, you can say that it is kind of almost monopoly that we have. Right? In fact, it is not only about machine learning. It is also about the other other application, be it enterprise grade or maybe apps, right? It is widely used. So that's why it is from the overall usage standpoint. 57% of the people they are using Python. I mean, pretty strong statement to have. After so many years of so much competition, now we have got a language which is kind of dominating. And the good part is there is no license attached. It's an open source, free of cost. Okay, so a few things that we actually already have seen, or maybe we'll see during the labs today. Indentation itself is syntax, right? So you don't have to have brackets or curly braces. Always it's advised that you use meaningful variable names. Comment wherever it is required. So there is an ample window where you can write comments. And don't repeat yourself. I mean, wherever you believe that a particular line of code or maybe a particular syntax is required multiple places, you can either create functions or you can have loops. We have data types and data structures in Python, just like any other languages. So we have got integer, float, string, and boolean, which are the fundamental data types. Right? We have structures, list, tuple, and dictionary. Right? And I'm only focused on those aspects where Python is getting integrated with the data. So I'm not going into any other area, whether you are developing an application or you're developing something which is to be used by the operating system and all, right? I'm only focused on areas which are where you will have an integration with the data, right? And that's the purpose of this overall workshop as well, right? So if you look at it, this is the data type. I mean, just spoke about the fundamental data types. So we have got integers, age, score, year, plus minus both. Float, we have got decimals, right? Then string, it can be character alphanumeric set of alphabets or maybe the numbers. Then we have got boolean where it is true and false. Uh, I hope we are okay with this. Straightforward, pretty much, right? Okay, so yeah, let's move on. We spoke about list. So let's list again. It's a combination of you can have multiple objects. Say in this particular example, we have got different name of the fruits, right? Apple, banana, cherry, right? So if you see, this is the variable that has been created and it's a list type, right? You can add and remove items from list. You can change any value. You can keep the order the way it is added into the list. That order will remain, and duplicates are okay. So why I am telling this, because lot many times when you are doing a data manipulation, specifically when you are retrieving the data from the database, right? You will be storing somewhere. Generally, those are called data frames, which we'll pick up in the next session. But when you have to manipulate the data in data frames, right, you typically will require one of these objects, one of these data types. Then we have got tuple. Tuple generally is referred as row, right? So you when you look at the data in table, we have got rows and columns combination. Typically, when you are extracting a particular row, you will bring it into tuple. Again, in this example, we have got two different latitude values, latitude, longitude, and altitude. So all these things have been put together in a variable by the name uh, chords. Uh, Sorry, I'm running a bit fast. I'm not pausing because I know that this is very basic. Just in case if it is causing you trouble, please ask me to hold my speed. Okay, so dictionary is a key value pair, right? In this example, we have got name, Alice, age, 21, city, and Delhi. Typically, when you are writing an application or a software, you will require certain configuration variables as well. config variables typically. And when you are writing those config variables, you generally require dictionary elements. Okay. Typically, like any other language, we have for loop, while loop, then the decision making constructs, if else if, right? And break and continue generally to stop uh, the loops or move out of the branching, right? So if you look at this, this is a syntax of a for loop. What we are trying to do, again, we are dealing with a list, and it has got different fruits in it, right? So this particular this is the syntax for which is written in Python, right? Which helps you to iterate through the entire list of fruits, right? So we have got for fruit in fruits. Print fruit, apple, banana, and so on. So we'll see how this is going to get executed. This is the syntax for a while loop. You have while count. So this is a condition that you're putting up, right? And then you're taking some, you're putting some statements to be executed. And this is an increment operator, right? It is incrementing the count by one. So what we are doing out here? Count is being initialized with one up till the moment count is not equal to or is greater than or equal to 5. You will continue to print the count, and every time the loop is getting executed, the count value is getting incremented, right? Then we have got conditions. So this is if else, right? Typically the way you use in any language, we have got a this is a true condition wherein we are taking a number as 10, and when we are comparing with the number is greater than 0, some code will be executed as the other part of the code will be executed. So this is a true condition, and this particular block will get executed in this case. If the condition is false, then this particular code will be executed. And in case if there are multiple conditions that needs to be executed, if, else if, right? So this is the syntax that we have. If, elif, another another elif, and then finally else. So if you have seen the syntaxes in another language, it's pretty much same, right? It's just that there is a simplification that is being done. And if you look at it, there are no braces. Any like in C++ and Java, we will have a braces out here that will help you understand that, okay, the if construct part one, I mean, the true condition is getting executed, right? And then the pause condition is getting executed. But here the syntax, it's, I mean, the indentation, the space that you see here, that itself is the syntax. That's why we call it as indentation as syntax. Okay, then we have got functions, and they can be used for any kind of reusability. So functions can be that, okay, maybe when you're dealing with any application that is supposed to set up, say for example, set up a connection with the database. You will define a function and you will call it every time you need to connect to a database or you need to fire a SQL statement, right? So typically used to promote the modularity, right? So uh, are we good up till here? Right. Okay. So now we have this question again. I assume that you will be able to solve this. So can you quickly do a dry run and let me know what will be the output? Anyone? Mayank?
C.
149. Okay. Anyone else? Shivani?
No, sir, I'm unable to get to the
Oh,
answer.
sorry, it's B actually. Sorry. Yeah,
Uh,
sorry.
can you quickly explain this, Mayank?
Yeah,
I
actually, in
understood
this
it.
loop,
Yeah,
every
I understood. I understood. Yeah, C was making sort sense. Yeah, my
Yeah,
answer is
but
B.
thank you so much for acknowledging that, Shivani. But Mayank, please go ahead and quickly explain this.
yeah, it's B actually because every number is being multiplied by 2. So in in the that in a single array, every number is it is going through a loop to multiply every number by 2. So first number when multiplied by 2 is 2. Second, when 2 is multiplied by 2, it's 4, and the third it's 6.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Point to be noted here, there is no increment operator. So for loop is taking care of it. While in using while loop, there was an increment operator involved,
Mm.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now let's talk about this question. Which Python library is most commonly used for numerical computation in AI? Any responses to this?
First,
Did we have we gone through this?
no, sir, we have
No.
not.
All right. So it's a bummer. So it's a bouncer for you guys, right? Anyway, so this is this we will try to respond in the next session. But anyone who is aware of Python, do you want to go, try this? Anybody who is aware of it?
Yeah, I guess it's NumPy.
Can you can you share a bit more about NumPy, Mayank, if you know it?
Yeah, NumPy is basically used for like I have not used NumPy very oftenly, but like I know the other options like Flask is then like and for making APIs, Django is also Selenium is used for automation, and NumPy basically it's used for numerical applications. But I'm not so familiar with it.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. But that's the right answer. So
Thank you.
yeah, yeah. Good that you're familiar about it. Anyways, we'll go into the detail about NumPy in the next session. But I just want to let you know that NumPy is very widely used and within the libraries that are being created using Python, NumPy in them as well is very extensively used. I mean, first it can be used directly. The other libraries that you are going to use, again, NumPy is a very integral part of for those libraries as well. Okay, so and some of these libraries, when they may not be available with the Python immediately, so you have to download and install some of these libraries. We'll let you know what will be the syntax about it. Right. In the next session, we are going to talk about pandas in particular, right? And we'll talk about how that library can be installed. So I think this is what we wanted to cover in the theoretical part. Let's talk about this, how this the ID looks like, right? Shall we get into that? Are we good on that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me. So I installed Anaconda, and maybe I can stop this. Yeah. So if you have installed uh, Anaconda, you will, the moment you write Jupyter, it will show you this Jupyter notebook. So let's run it. When you run this, it's going to open, it's going to run a local web server, right? Because the program that you're going to run, they will be on the browser. So it is going to typically follow client server architecture where the browser is going to become a client, right? And your server is the one which just hosted this environment. So you see that this is the server that actually has been built, right? And it actually has initiated this interface, right? So now when you get onto this particular screen, and you can try this while I am doing this for you guys, you can try this on your system as well. That will be helpful. So here, if you look at it, I have written down there are different folders, there are different programs that I have written down, right? And some of them follow the right kind of naming convention, but there are a lot of files that are like, they are kind of orphan. Uh, they are not named appropriately. So in case if you want to write a new program, right, you can always go into new and notebook. Yeah, yeah. So so this is the IDE, right? And all these options you can try it out. I'm sure that they are pretty straightforward. If you have done programming in one language, it should not be so difficult. Let me do this now. Let me bring up one of the programs which I actually had written down with this session, and so that you find it relevant. So what we have learned, right? I have created a program which has got multiple blocks to it. So if you look at this, this is a particular block, and you can run the program block by block. Right? So say for example, this particular um, piece of code, what it is doing, it is initializing two different variables and then it is printing. Right? So you can actually directly run this. This, if you can follow my screen, we have got this option out here, run this cell. You can go into run and you can choose that, okay, you want to run the entire program or you want to go ahead and run uh, bit by bit, I mean, cell by cell. So let me run this particular part. So it actually initiated name and age, and then finally it is printing. No brainer, very straightforward. So this is the syntax for if else. We just discussed about this, right? So it has got three different conditions which are being checked, right? Let's run this. Number is 10. So what should be the output? Anybody who would like to predict this? Shivani, you want to go ahead?
Positive.
Yeah, that's right. So let's run this. What actually has happened? Number is 10, and when the first condition is checked, that itself will get executed, right? So it will not go into the other statements. Now, we also spoke about integer, float, string, and boolean, right? The different basic data types, right? So this is where we are initializing them. Age with 25, which is integer, salary with some decimals, which is float, right? And then string, where we are initializing the name, whether the person is employee or not. That's where the boolean will come into the picture, right? And then uh, we are printing whatever we have initialized. Then we are setting up a list. List has got some marks, right? And then we are printing the different elements. And here, one important aspect which I have missed out, when you're dealing with list um, uh, or any kind of arrays, they typically start from position 0, right? So in case if there are 10 different elements, I'm sure that you already would know it, but I'm just trying to refresh your memory. If there are 10 different elements, the last element will be at 9 because we started from 0, right? So here we are printing the first mark, and then what we are trying to do here is that we are creating another object, which the name of this object is employee, which has got these key value pair. And what is the object that we call as which holds key value pair? Anyone? Key value pair. What do we call it? What kind of object is this? What kind of variable or data type it is?
Map,
Oh yeah,
collection,
sure, please. Sorry.
map.
Your voice is not audible, Rajesh. Can you say that again, please?
Oh, sorry, map or collections.
Yeah. Okay. It's a dictionary, and I'm sure that you can easily relate to that, right? Uh, so yes. So when we run this, we have got everything together, right? Let's talk about the loops. We have got this is the syntax which we discussed, but let's see how it functions now. So we have got we have a list wherein we are storing some numbers, assuming that these are the marks. And what we are trying to do is that in case if the marks are more than 80, then it is excellent. Otherwise, it needs improvement and so on, right? We have another loop, right? And it has got we are initializing the count with 1 and we are running this multiple times. Um, and of course, this is the condition. When this condition will be met, the for loop, the while loop will get will it will break. So let's assume let's run this as well. So what do we have? 75 needs improvement, 82, 91, 88, excellent, right? Typically the way it is done in any other programming language. And then we have got this. So what is this? Anyone who would like to explain what are we trying to do here?
We defined a function to
Uh-huh.
calculate the average marks.
Uh-huh.
So, like, and function is a block of code which can be reused again and again just by calling it with some parameters.
Perfect. Perfect. So
For example,
yeah, please go ahead.
I will like try to do a dry run here. For
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
we want to calculate the average. We have a variable average here, and we call and array student marks. So using the function, we take student marks as a parameter to call the function calculate average. So by doing so, we when we go into the function, we have two variables there total, which sums all the elements in a array. Suppose here the student marks, and then average divides it by the total and the length of the elements, resulting in giving an average. The function then returns the average, which is then stored in the avg variable, and at last we print the average.
Perfect. Full points to you, Mayank. Um,
Thank you.
I hope rest of the folks you were able to understand. Okay, let's execute this.
So I wanted to ask a question. This is a little bit technical. I just wanted to know that we are using some return. These are part of Python's library. What would be? Where is len being used? What is it? I don't know that. But in
Okay.
math, I understood what formula we are using and why we are using it. We are just calculating average for few certain digits, if I understand it this way. But
Yeah.
if I'm talking about Python and I have to take out, it would be, this is an important task, taking out students' averages, scores.
Yeah.
So what would len mean here and where else can it be used?
Yeah. Mayank, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, so len is also a function which can be used again and again to get the length of an array, like how many elements are there in an array. For example, like here are, I think so, 4 elements. So it will return 4.
Yeah. Yeah. And similarly, we have got this function as well, sum, which is these are internal functions. So you don't have to really include any kind of library for this. Right? Otherwise, you will include a library, and within that library, you will define all those uh, functions. Right, Shivani? Maybe in other languages, you would have seen that we include all those files. Right. So here we have not done the because len and sum they are inbuilt functions at the root level of Python. Right? And return is since it's a function, right? It has taken this is the name of the function. It has taken a input which is a list, right? And it is returning, which is the combination of all these. So this is other return, right? So if you look at it, how it is going to get executed, we have got this list, right? And the output is coming in the variable avg, right? So let's now execute this too. All right, I think this should be the average 85.75 something, right? Yeah, I
So
think
how does it understand which is a function? I mean, I see that sum is a function and the length is a
uh,
function.
sorry, Kamlesh, what's your question?
Okay. Now, it has a different color coding, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, I see the sum and length are the internal functions that it's calling. Sum
yes,
is like it does the sum adds it, and length is the length of the array. Now, what is calculate average? I mean, is it a function or we are giving?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So it's a user defined. I mean, I have defined it. So it's a user defined function name. So when you are going to write a software, right, in case if you want to calculate the averages again and again, right, maybe you can use this and you know that, okay, you have to pass a particular list so that the average can be calculated. You can use this. Lot many times what happens, and specifically when you are dealing with the data, I'm giving you an example wherein what you need to do is to ensure that the white spaces, say for example, if you are using an array, right, the white spaces in the front and the white spaces in the back, right, they needs to be omitted, right? So you have to actually condense that. So what you can do, you can actually write a function which actually removes all these white spaces. I mean, just an example. There can be
Understood.
numerous examples where you can use functions, Kamlesh. Right? So you have rightly pointed out that if you look at this, and let me just zoom it, the green one is the place where we have got the keywords, right? Which are used by the language itself, by Python itself. And here we are defining, the blue is one is where we are defining a particular function. Right? Easy to understand? Yeah. Shivani, I think probably you're saying something, but you're on mute.
Yeah, just an action that somewhat easy. For me, I think I used to code very many years back. Now it has all gone, so I'll have to revise everything again.
Yeah. I completely understand that. I think maybe the same story would be for Kamlesh as well, as he's called out that maybe he had coded 10 years back, right? But picking up this will not take much time, Shivani. Of course, since it's a fast track as well, and we are going to touch multiple dimensions in this program, right? So the learning and the effort that should go to substantiate that will be slightly on the higher side for you, Shivani. Right? Okay, so this actually closes the practical part as well. So whatever we wanted to do, whatever we have covered on the theoretical side, it is now completed in the form of code as well. I'll pass you this source code, but you may not need it, but I'll still pass it so that in case if you have to see how this functions. And I now would suggest, so this gives you some understanding how the code is structured. Now you will when you go deeper into this program, you will realize that okay, we are more and more code we are writing using chat gpt, or we are using some vibe coding tools, right? The important part is that we should not be scared of these syntaxes, right? In case if there is an issue, uh, you you should be able to hold the fort so that you can go ahead and implement solutions that can make this source code. You can run this source code, right? The last time when I was coding, I mean, I was developing an application. There were a lot of environmental variable issues. Right? Of course, the vibe coding tool itself will help you to debug, to figure out the issues. But if you are completely from the non-technical part, maybe there will be some hesitance. So I just want to make sure that we are taking care of it, right? So this is the basic, and then we'll move on to the next session, which we'll do day after. We'll talk about NumPy, right? Some pandas. I request that we I'll share you the instructions. We have to install pandas. NumPy is already available in Python. Most likely pandas, maybe in the latest version of Anaconda, maybe even the pandas is already installed. But I will let you know in case if you are using any other libraries, say for example, we will be using Matplotlib for the visualization, for the charts and all, right? So there we have to install these libraries. So I will let you know how it is done. It's a very simple, straightforward, single command, pip install and the name of the package, right? So it will download from internet, right? And it will install that particular package. So pretty easy. What I would request is that please go through the slides that I'm going to share with you. Right, spend some time on this IDE. Make sure that you are understanding there are different ways to the I mean all these cells, they have got different types how you're going to write code. In case if let me just show you what I mean. In case if I go ahead and add one more. Yeah, I just added this, right? So you will find certain situations where you are not able to execute a particular cell, right? Because maybe it is not marked for execution. So how do you land up into those situations? Let's try to spend time, do some experiments on this, become very much familiar how this works. It will be pretty useful. Okay, so I think I'm pretty much done for the day. Do you have any questions?
So how do I launch Jupyter? I mean, if I have to run this, well, I know you said you share the source code, but how do I navigate? I mean, I've launched, I've installed Anaconda,
Yeah.
and should I just go click on Jupyter and then I'll be able to write codes all by myself?
Yeah. So let me do this again. Uh, I think maybe it for momentarily you dropped. So maybe I'll
It's like,
just show you how it is done. Right. Uh, and I'll just close this as well. Right. Now let me go into Jupyter. So what you can do, you can write Jupyter notebook, right? So what it does, it actually starts this web server, right? It's a local web server that is being initiated, right? It actually executes many commands in the back. Once the server is ready, it opens the browser window, right? And then it will open the interface. So if you look at this, there are different folders that we have. And in the root folder itself, I have developed many programs, right? Of course, for education purpose only, right? These are not enterprise application that we have written. Uh, in case if you want to write a source code from scratch, you can go into file, new, and notebook, right? So when you go into this will be ready for you to write any piece of code. This is the cell that where you will be writing code, right? In case if you have written something and you want to bring it back, say for example, we had written this particular code session 2, right, for today. So if you click on this is the code which is available right in front of you, right? So you can execute again. If you look at this, there are two different extensions that we have for Python. One is IPYB, wherein you can even store the output. So this is not from the production standpoint. This is primarily from the debug standpoint, right? Once you are ready with the code, you will convert this source code into .py file, and that will get integrated into your deployment stuff, right? So are we good here now, Kamlesh?
yes, yes, right. So, I mean, I was just going to ask, I mean, the general extension that I have seen is .py. You're saying if
Yeah.
I store it with the result, it will become pynb.
At this
That's
point
what
in time,
become,
you keep it IPYB, right? Because we are going to do a lot of debugging.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if that is the case, if you do not have any other questions, we can stop here and we'll resume day after 8 o'clock. Right. So what I have done in the group itself, in the description, I have actually put up the link for the session. It will remain as is for the entire program. So at any point in time, if you are struggling, you know that okay, you have to go onto the WhatsApp and just click on that particular link. Right. Okay. In case if we want to also correspond on emails, right? I think at some point in time we would need your email IDs as well. So it will be good to have the details. Maybe in once the session is done, you can leave your email ID on the WhatsApp group. Okay. All right, then we'll stop here. Let's meet on Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thanks.
you
Bye
so
bye.
much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Ryan. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.